Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to make a simple calculator that will perform four operations: addition, multiplication, and division. So, how to create such a calculator using the C++ programming language. So, after watching this video, you will be able to make your own first calculator using the C++ language on the computer. So, first of all, I have already told you about the IO stream and how to create the new project and about the main method. Now, here is the new thing: float. The float is a primitive data type like int, as I have shown you in the previous video. We have got many primitive data types like float, double, int, string, character. These are many types, but we'll talk them about later. First of all, here we'll talk about float, only float. Um, you have noticed that when we use int instead of float, we can only store integers in the int. While in float we can use floating point numbers like with the number with decimal points. In for this purpose, as we have we have a division here, we will be performing division operation in this calculator. So we may get a quotient in the fraction form, or you can say it in the floating point numbers. So to store the floating point numbers, we use the float primitive data type instead of int. So here I have declared so many variables. You can say number 1, number 2. These are the numbers, two numbers on which we'll be performing all the operations, that is sum, difference, product, and quotient. So in the number 1 and number 2, we will get input from the user and store them in these two numbers, and then we'll perform some operations, some calculations, and store the result for the addition in sum, and store the result for minus in difference, and similarly for product and quotient. So first of all, we need to have two numbers so that we will be able to perform these operations on them. So here we will use your statement and ask the user to enter the first number, and using same statement we will be getting input from the by the user and storing it in the number 1 variable. And then again you can see the same we are doing here, second number, and store in the number 2 using same and your statements. Now here comes the main part of the program. First of all, this is so simple. You can see this is the simple math. You can just add two numbers, number 1 plus number 2. These are the two variables in which the numbers are stored by the user. We can add these two numbers and assign the sum of these two numbers to the new variable sum, as I have declared it. Here you can see this is sum declared here. So now I will just add these two numbers using the plus sign, and this is semicolon, the simple syntax, and this is the assignment operator, the equal sign. You should not confuse or mix it with the equal sign. In C++ or the programming languages, we use double equal signs to equal something, to check if the two numbers or any two numbers are equal to each other. But by using the single equality sign, we are here intended to store or assign the value of the addition at the sum of the two numbers to the variable sum. Similarly, we are subtracting the two numbers here and assigning the difference or the result in the difference variable. Similarly, for the product and for the quotient, the only difference is the operations and the symbols for the product, for the division, and for the plus and minus. So this is the main working, and now at the end we will just output the sum and the product, the quotient and the difference in the console, as you can see, by using the cout statements. Now let's compile the program and see what happens. So it is compiled successfully with no errors. So let's enter the first number. Let's say enter 5. The second number, let's say enter 3. So as you can see the sum is 8, product 15, quotient 1, difference 2. This is accurate and perfectly done by the compiler that any calculator would do, or would provide the same result. So now I would give you some extra detail about the float. First of all, notice here the quotient, that here is the 1.66667. This is because we have used the float as the primitive data type. Now close it. Now let's change it, change the float to the int. Now let's see what happens. Compile the program, enter 5 and 3. Now you can see everything is same, 8, 15, 2, but here the quotient makes a difference. It is only 1, not 1.666. This is the main logical error, you can say. The compiler doesn't give any syntax error, but it's a logical error that you must understand. So to remove this error, because it does not store the floating point numbers, the decimal point numbers. Int only stores integers. So store floating point numbers or decimal point numbers, we use float in the primitive data type. So this is the solution of the of this situation. So in fact the compiler is doing itself a right thing here. As you can see, if we divide 5 by 3, you can see 3 into 2 are 6, but 6 is greater than 5. So here it will show only 1. It will skip the floating point numbers 1.66. It will skip the 667 numbers after the decimal point. It will show only the number that is left side of the decimal point. And another addition is that the compiler will not round off the integer. For example, the previous stage was 1.6, and then compiler should round off either 2, but here it will be there will be no rounding off the number. It will show only the first integer, either it will be 1, 2 or anything. It will just not round off. So to overcome this logical error, we will use float, compile it. So 5 and 3 again. So here you can see, and the problem is solved. So this is what this is now for today, the simple calculator. So please subscribe the